Today, we're diving into a story that's, well, really tearing through Kerala's film industry right now. It's got all the drama of a blockbuster script itself.
Absolutely. It's quite something.
We're talking about Thudarum, the huge 2025 box office hit starring the legendary Mohanlal. A massive success, no doubt about it.
Undeniable.
But now it's facing these really serious, headline-grabbing plagiarism allegations, and they're coming from a pretty well-known filmmaker, Sanal Sasiudharan.
An acclaimed director in his own right.
So this deep dive, it's all about trying to untangle this whole controversy. We're gonna, peel back the layers a bit, look at the claims, the counter-arguments.
And figure out what it all means for creative ownership, really, in cinema.
Exactly. We'll look at the facts as we know them, the key players involved, and some of those surprising details that honestly make this story thicker than a Kerala Sadhya. Which, by the way, is this amazing, huge traditional feast. Lots of layers there, too.
Good comparison. Yeah, our mission here essentially is to connect those dots for you. We want to offer a clear understanding of not just, what happened,
Right.
but why it actually matters, and hopefully let you consider all the different perspectives in this unfolding drama.
Okay, so let's start with the heart of it all. The film Thudarum. It hit theaters back on April 25th, 2025. And it didn't just make waves, it, created a tsunami.
It really did capture the audience's imagination.
It soared, became the third highest grossing Malayalam film ever. We're talking a global haul of 234.5 crore.
Which is a huge number, especially considering the context of Malayalam film budgets generally. That's massive success.
Totally. Just in Kerala, it grossed 118 crore. And the budget, reportedly around 28 crore. That's an incredible return.
Astonishing, really.
The story itself centers on Ben's Shanmukham, Mohanlal's character. He's a taxi driver in Pathanamthitta, very attached to his old black Ambassador Mark I.
A classic car.
Right. His quiet life with his wife Lalitha, played by Shobana, great to see her back, it just spirals when his car gets tangled up in a police case.
The inciting incident.
Exactly. And it forces him into this battle against corrupt cops, a twisted system, the drill.
Classic. Every man versus the system setup.
Critics loved it. Fans adored it. They praised Thuran Murthy's direction, K.R. Sunil's screenplay, Jix Bejoy's music score. It got rave reviews.
Yeah, I remember seeing even Pradeep Ranganathan, the Tamil actor-director, posting about how much he liked it.
That's right. It started streaming on Jio Hotstar from May 30th and even got a Tamil release as Thudarum from May 9th, so huge reach.
Definitely a juggernaut.
But then, just as it's riding this massive wave of success, boom, June 15th, 2025, Sanal Sasiudharan drops this bombshell.
The director of films like S. Durga Vazaku, known for more, let's say, art house fare, but critically acclaimed.
Yes. He goes on Facebook, and his post basically screams betrayal. He claims Thudarum was built on the skeleton, his word, of his own script.
An unproduced script, crucially.
Right. Called Theeyattam. Written back in 2020, he says. And he didn't mince words either. He suggested the Thudarum makers either lacked the intelligence to get its essence, or maybe tweaked it deliberately to avoid getting caught.
Wow. Strong words.
So that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Did Thudarum lift Sanal's script? Or is this maybe a director trying to make some noise, get some attention? Let's unpack that.
Yeah, let's dig in, because Sanal's claim really centers on this script, Theeyattam. He penned it in 2020.
Okay.
And the premise is, well, it's pretty dark. It's about an auto rickshaw driver, Ambi, in Kerala. His life gets turned upside down when a murder happens in his auto. A severed head gets left behind.
Whoa. Okay, intense.
And very. Ambi gets framed for it, obviously, and the story follows his fight against this corrupt system trying to pin it on him.
I can already see some potential parallels emerging there with the driver theme.
We'll get to that. Now, Sanal says he didn't just write this script and sit on it. He actively pitched it.
Oh, really? To who?
He mentioned some big names: Manju Warrior, Tavino Thomas, Murali Gopi, Sudhir Karamana. Pretty prominent actors.
Definitely. So he was trying to get it made.
Absolutely. He even says he struck a deal with Century Films, which is a known production house in Kerala.
So what happened? Why didn't Theeyattam get made?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For reasons that aren't entirely clear, could be funding, creative differences, scheduling, the usual industry hurdles. It just never happened. It remained unproduced.
Frustrating for him, I imagine.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And now he points to what he sees as the key evidence. His smoking gun, if you will. It's a specific line of dialogue in Thudarum.
Okay, what's the line?
It's Kanal Papam Thanal Theorem. It's a Malayalam proverb.
What does it mean?
Roughly translates to, the sin of killing is absolved by eating. It's a known saying.
Okay. So how is a common proverb evidence?
Well, Sanal's argument is that this specific proverb was lifted directly from his Theeyattam script.
Yeah.
And more than that, he claims it feels unnecessary in Thudarum, out of place.
Ah, I see. He thinks it was sort of accidentally left in.
Kind of. He calls it a slip-up. Like a, burglar forgetting their calling card at the scene. He insists it was a crucial line in his script, but feels forced in their film.
Interesting take. A proverb is common, but framing it that way?
Yeah.
It does make you think?
Exactly. It turns a common saying into a potential clue, at least in his narrative. And he's playing his cards close, but he has promised to release his full Theeyattam script online soon.
Really? Wow, okay, so basically putting it out there for everyone to compare.
Precisely. Inviting the public to be the judge and jury.
Okay, this is where it gets really juicy then. Let's talk about those narrative similarities, because there seem to be quite a few striking ones.
The core structure.
Both stories, Theeyattam and Thudarum, they feature a driver, okay? One's an auto rickshaw, the other's a taxi who gets wrongly caught up in a crime connected to their vehicle.
Right. The vehicle is central.
And both films dig deep into themes of corruption, injustice, the protagonist battling this whole twisted system.
That struggle against power.
Yeah. In Thudarum, Mohanlal's character, Ben Shenmomam, he's actually a former stuntman who became a taxi driver. And he gets thrown into this fight when his beloved ambassador car is implicated. People loved seeing Mohanlal in that mode again, sort of channeling his Jisham vibes.
That ordinary man pushed too far archetype, it resonates.
Hugely. But this leads to a really important question, doesn't it?
It does. Are these clear signs of plagiarism?
Oh.
Or are we just seeing common themes, common tropes that pop up a lot in cinema, especially Malayalam cinema?
Right, because that everyman hero fighting injustice, that's a staple.
Oh, absolutely. Think about Drishyam itself, or Joseph, or Ayappanam Koshiyam. Malayalam cinema has a really rich vein of these kinds of stories. They connect deeply with audiences.
So the basic idea driver framed fights back might not be unique enough on its own.
Well, that's the crux of copyright law, isn't it? This idea of ideas floating around. Creative concepts often emerge in parallel. Different people can have similar ideas. Proving someone stole an idea requires more than just thematic similarity, because ideas themselves, like a driver gets framed, aren't really copyrightable. It's the execution.
The specific detail.
Exactly. The specific plot points, the unique character arcs, the dialogue, the structure. That's what's protected. How you tell the story, not just the basic premise. You could give 10 writers the same premise and get 10 different scripts.
Okay, that makes sense. So the devil's really in the details here.
It usually is in these cases.
So let's shift focus a bit to the people involved. Starting with the accuser, Sanal Kumar Sasitharan. What should we know about him?
Well, as you mentioned, he's an acclaimed filmmaker, but it's also fair to say he's, well, no stranger to controversy.
Right. There have been other issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
In January 2025, fairly recently, he faced charges, widely reported, for allegedly harassing an actress believed to be Manju Warrior on social media, stalking, defamation claims.
Okay.
And there were similar legal troubles reported back in 2022 as well, involving another actress.
So, this history, how does it factor in? Does it mean his current claims aren't valid?
Not necessarily, no. His past controversies don't automatically prove or disprove the plagiarism accusation itself. That stands or falls on its own evidence.
Right.
But it does undeniably paint him as a polarizing figure. Some people see him as this bold artist, maybe a bit provocative, but fighting the system. Others might view him more cynically, perhaps as someone looking for attention or conflict.
So it adds a layer of complexity to how people might receive his claims.
Absolutely. It's part of the context.
What about the other side? The Thudarum team. Director Tarun Murthy, writer K.R. Sunil, the producer M. Ranjith, Rajaputra Visual Media. How have they responded?
That's the interesting part. As of, well, basically now, June 17, 2025. Complete silence.
Nothing. No statement, no denial.
Radio silence. Which, of course, people are interpreting in different ways.
Like what?
Well, one view is they're probably talking to lawyers, figuring out their strategy before saying anything publicly. Sensible, maybe?
Could be.
Or they might just be choosing to ignore it. Treat it as noise, maybe hoping it blows over, especially while the film is doing so well.
Riding high on the success.
Exactly. But there's a risk there, too. If Sanal's claims do gain traction, or if he presents compelling evidence.
Then the silence might not look so good later on.
Precisely. It could backfire. both in the court of public opinion and potentially in an actual court.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. This whole issue of plagiarism in films, it's not exactly new, is it?
Oh, far from it. Especially when you talk about inspiration. Bollywood borrowing from Hollywood is practically a genre in itself, right?
Yeah, true.
And South Indian industries often borrow from each other or from literature, folklore.
Right.
There's a lot of cross-pollination.
But stealing a whole script is different.
It's a different ballgame entirely. That's a much more direct and serious allegation than just being inspired by a theme.
So, legally speaking, what does Sanal need to prove?
Legally, plagiarism usually means copying substantial parts of protected work without credit. So, if he can show that Thudarum lifts specific, unique elements, plot structure, key scenes, character arcs, significant chunks of dialogue verbatim or near verbatim from Theeyattam,
He might have a case.
he might have a strong case. But again, not just the general idea of a framed driver. It has to be about the expression of that idea, the unique way he told that story in his script.
Which brings us back to him releasing the script. That seems like a key move.
That's a very strategic move, yeah. It's like saying, okay, public, here's my work. You compare it, you decide. He's essentially crowdsourcing the judgment.
Putting his evidence out there directly.
Exactly. It could be incredibly powerful if the similarities are blatant. It could rally support, put immense pressure on the Thudarum team.
But the flip side.
The flip side is, if people read it and think, well, yeah, they're both about drivers, but they're quite different, actually.
Then he could look like he's, well, crying wolf.
Precisely. It could seriously damage his credibility if the claims seem exaggerated after the script is out. High stakes.
And meanwhile, this whole thing is just exploding on social media, right?
Oh, completely. It's become a massive online debate. Sanal's first Facebook post just lit the fuse. Conversations everywhere. Tea shops, WhatsApp, you name it.
And Twitter or X?
X went wild. On June 16th, the day after, it was all over the place. You had accounts like @Sakshi News tweeting in Telugu, something like, "They stole my story, the thieves got caught." And at CNN India running headlines like, "Mohanlal's Thudarum accused of plagiarism."
So it spread fast and wide.
Instantly. And the fan reactions.
Yeah.
Completely split down the middle.
Yeah. What are people saying?
You've got some defending Thudarum, like one user at Balali Maverick posted, "Sanal's just salty, his film didn't get made, Thudarum is original," that kind of thing.
Okay, the dismissal camp.
Right, but then you have others, like at Cinema Century, urging caution, wait for the script, let's not jump the gun. More measured takes.
And I bet the memes are flying.
Oh, you know it. Lots of Mohanlal looking confused, apparently. It just shows how these things blow up online in 2025.
Everyone becomes an instant expert.
Critic, lawyer, detective, all rolled into one. It really highlights how quickly narratives form online and maybe how important it is to wait for facts before jumping to conclusions.
Absolutely. So after all this, the big question still hangs there, doesn't it? Is Thudarum a stolen gem? Or is it an original hit facing an unfair attack?
The truth is still, well, pending. It feels like it's locked away either in Sanal's script file or maybe in the strategy meetings of the Thudarum team.
What are we watching for next? What happens now?
The big thing is Sanal releasing that Theeyattam script. That's the next major expected event.
And if it does look like a copy?
Then expect fireworks. Lawsuits seem likely, demands for apologies, public statements, maybe even compensation talks. It could get very messy very quickly.
And if it doesn't?
If the similarities seem superficial, Sanal could face a real backlash for raising such a storm. The Thudarum team might feel vindicated, maybe break their silence, than to dismiss it firmly.
And we're still waiting to hear from them regardless.
Yes. Their silence is a big question mark. Will they address it? Ignore it? And also, will any of those actors Sanal mentioned, Major Warrior Tavino Thomas, ever confirm if he actually pitched Theeyattam to them?
Yeah.
That could add another layer.
Right. Corroboration. Well, for now, Thudarum, it's still out there, still a huge film people are watching. Maybe this controversy adds a weird layer to viewing it now.
It definitely makes you watch it with a different eye, perhaps. It's still being praised as great storytelling, Mohanlal doing what he does best, why fans call him Lalatan.
That affectionate nickname.
Exactly. But Sanal's claims, they're like this unexpected plot twist happening off screen. So yeah, we'd still say, grab your popcorn, stream Thudarum on Hotstar if you haven't. Make up your own mind.
And keep an ear out for that proverb, Kanal papam thinal theorem.
Maybe give Sanal a little nod if you catch it.
But seriously, this whole saga.
It's a really potent reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the world of art where ideas flow, where people collaborate, get inspired, that line between homage influence, and just plain taking something, it can be incredibly blurry.
And subjective sometimes, too.
Very subjective.
Yeah,
It makes you
yeah.
think about where ideas even come from. Who owns a story? Especially when it gets pitched around, maybe evolves in conversation before it's even fully written.
Especially in a high-stakes industry like film.
Right, so yeah, it feels like a cliffhanger. And this story, playing out in Kerala's really vibrant film world,
Yeah.
it feels far from over. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on it.